Hello folks, welcome back. We're now into part 14, which is the workflow we're using to process a stack of images in PixInsight. So let's head over to our screen, and we have created a nonlinear image, and we did that. We took this image and we stretched it into this image, and then we applied the SCNR, which is a supposed noise reduction program, but it's used probably more often than not to remove color cast, and in this case ours was green. And when we applied the SCNR, we received this. I just made a copy of this and have a clone copy. So this is the one we'll be working on. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make another copy of this, as I imagine we'll be doing some comparison of in a few minutes. But the first thing that we're going to be doing, we've created a number of masks. We have a luminosity mask, we have a star mask, and we have a nebula mask. I did delete the point spread function. I had two instances of that, and I probably should have left that, because the idea of saving these projects is that I could go back to the beginning actually before and start all over, and or start at different places in the workflow, and it might be where I ran deconvolution and I'll just have to recreate those point spread functions. So probably should have left them, and I probably should have left the mask. They weren't taking that much real estate up that I did in the linear state, but I know pretty sure that I would not have used those, and we didn't use them, so that's fine. I'm going to scoot these over a little bit. So far this has been our workflow, and these images are a result of HAS203 and a create and luminosity image that we've also stretched. So it's time to make some tweaks to this and see if we can't bring out some of the color that we know is here. And as I move, I'm holding down the mouse, and as I'm moving over this image, I'm looking at the colors, and the red, green, and blues, and there's nothing oversaturated in these colors. And they're pretty much a combination of RGB. There's a little more blue up here. Visibly, but and we have some noise. You see the noise blotchiness throughout the entire image. That's par for the course. Okay, well, let's bring up curves, and the first thing let's do is add some contrast to this image, and we're going to bring up a real-time preview, and this is going to be subtle, but I'm going to click on the RGB /K. I'm going to add an anchor point there, an anchor point there, and an anchor point there. I'm going to drag this one down just a tad, and I'm going to bring this one up about the same amount, and maybe down just a tad more, and I'm going to apply this, and we're going to reset, and we've added some contrast. There's after, before, after, before, after. But some of our nebulosity has been affected by that curve. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up our nebula mask, and we're going to apply it. And what we're going to protect is everything in red, and then the transparent parts are the parts that we'll be working on. But we do not need to see this mask, so we're going to hide it. It's there, it's just not giving us that red overlay look. We'll apply another real-time preview, and now we're only affecting the nebulosity in this image, and we're going to bring it up both in RGB. We're going to put an anchor point about right there and one about right there, and we're going to pull it up at the middle, and we're going to take the luminosity and we're going to put an anchor point there as well, and here, and we're going to do the same thing with the luminosity, and we're going to apply that. And so we brought up some of the we may apply this again, but this is probably going to be I'll tell you what, let's do apply it again, but not as much. So we want this anchored here, anchored there, and then we'll take the loon channel and we'll anchor it down here as well, up there, and apply that. We're making these subtle changes. Okay, it's still working. Let's reset while we still have the nebula mask. Let's go to saturation and let's just pull up the saturation and apply. See if we can't bring some of the colors out. Okay. Let's do this again. Again, we're working on the nebula. We've got a mask applied, and so let's reset this. And while we have the mask applied, let's pull up the hue and come down a little bit with that. And see if we can't and let's go get the red channel and let's bump it up just a tad. Yeah. Alright, let's set an anchor point there for the red channel. Now let's bump it up just a tad. Come down a little bit. Let's apply that. Okay, let's reset and let's move let's see if we can't saturate this some more. I want to bring some of the blues out, so let's go down to our saturation tool, which is here. I already have a process icon saved with the saturation tool, and I want to create a new real-time preview with saturation. But I have some anchor points already set up, and what I want to do is I want to bring the reds up, and I want to bring the reds down. I don't want to go up that much. And I'm going to do the same over here on this side. And I want to bring the blues up a lot. Maybe not that much. Let's bring the red down a little bit. And let's apply this. I may be pushing this a bit. This is where you can spend a lot of time, and it's all a matter of what do you like. It has nothing to do with science. The only really science in this image is this picture right here. This is the nebula, and that is the science part. Levels of luminosity vary across the nebula, and this is an accurate rendition of this part of the sky. This is the closest thing to having usable science that we have in the whole image. The rest of it is subjective. It's what do you want to look at, what looks good to you. And I have found what I like and looks good to me doesn't always look good to other people. And so we're all kind of a little bit different in that respect. I'm going to take the mask and remove it. I'm going to get my yellow mask, and as you can see, there's only some you might not even be able to see it. There's only some masking that's going to go on in the center right down in here. So let's go ahead and apply it, and let's bring up our curves, and let's go to the let's take a real-time preview, and let's click on the C, and let's bring this up some. Let's go get our RGB. Let's bring that up some. Let's get our saturation, and let's bring that up some, and let's hit that. And reset, and let's close out that. Close out the real-time real-time preview, and I'm going to do something. I'm going to save this project now, and the reason why is I'm getting ready to use a new script called Game, and it's to create a very specific mask. But from time to time when I use Game, it just crashes the PixInsight program. So it would be a good time. Let's remove this mask, and it'd be a good time to save the entire project. Everything that we've done will be saved just in case I have a crash. So we're going to save the project. That's the name of the project. We're going to click OK. We're going to overwrite the one that's there. It's going to take it a few minutes to do all of that, and then we'll pick it up and start working with the Game script. Okay, we've got it all saved. So let's go to, now we're still saving. We're still clocking. Okay. Now we're going to pull up the game script. Go to utilities, come down to game. And if you don't have this script, review one of the movies videos that I did. It's part 7 or 8 or 9, and I've got links on several of those to the web page where you can find the Hartmut Bornemann scripts, and there's several that you would want to download. So let's make this bigger so we can see it. You can choose 2 types of mask. The ellipsis is just a circle, and click where you and you go add, and you can move this around. Say you wanted to take the blue, and it just makes a circle, and you could say I want to affect this part of the image and only that part, and it creates a mask. I normally check the gradient mask, but you can check a luminance, a gradient edge mask, and click on it, and you'll get 3 different masks. You can pick your poison. You can also add another elliptical, as many as you want. I think I haven't done more than 2 or 3, but you might want in the same mask have several areas that you want to affect. And for example, move that over here to this somewhat blue area, and then you go down here and click OK, and the masks are created. But I'm not interested in this one or this one. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to go to Multipoint, and I'm going to click. I really want to try just to get the blue in here, so I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to go to the opposite side about there and click there. Then I'm going to pull this down here, and I'm going to put an anchor point and move that up. I'll put an anchor point, move that up, in, down, down. We got blue down here too, don't we? And let's go down in here. And so what I've noticed with these masks, it's hit or miss. Sometimes it creates a mask in this shape, and sometimes it returns one that's elliptical. So let's see what happens in this case, and sometimes it crashes the program. So we're going to try OK, and let's see what kind of a mask we get. Oh, it's going to create 3 of them: luminance, gradient, and gradient edge mask. And really all I wanted was the I don't want that one. I don't want this one. This is the one I want. So I'm going to apply this mask, and I'm going to move this over, and I don't know what even to call this, but it's kind of blue cast mask. And the reason why I'm doing this is that this blue mask has did not return a very I don't know, it didn't return a very helpful mask to us. So I'm going to just go ahead and this wasn't very helpful. So we've got this one applied, and let's bring up curves, and we're just going to work on the everything is protected but this little area right here, and we're going to take our RGB and we're going to bring it up a little bit. See if you bring it up a lot. Oh, we don't have a real-time menu, do we? Preview. I don't know why I want to say menu. I'm hungry, I guess. Okay, well, see our mask? So we're bringing up the luminosity. Now let's bring up some blue. And let's bring up some saturation. And let's apply it. So I think you get the advantages of running these game masks. It lets you to create a specific mask area to do selective coloring and saturation and or desaturation. So let's, because we could spend hours doing just this, let's put an end to this one. And I'll tell you what I can do. I can do two things. If anybody wants to take this data and work on this image, if you send me an email, I'll put that up on the video, my email. If you want to send me an email, and I'll be glad to send you the HA, S2, and O3 and Loom data. If you also want these process icons, I can send those to you as well. Now, the only reason why you might want those is that I do have some pretty intense pixel math formulas. For example, this one that involves removing magenta stars and changing the background has some you just have to enter some data, but if you're interested in any of these or all of these, they'll all come at once. But let's go ahead and put this to bed, because we could again work on the coloration of this. With one exception, I want to do one thing before I want to remove this mask. And I want to do one thing since I brought it up. We do not have any magenta stars, but if you had them, this would do a good job of removing them. So I'm going to make a clone. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to, yeah, I am. I'm going to make a clone of this. I'm going to put this up. I'm going to delete this because we didn't use it. So we keep confused. But I'm going to apply this, and watch how the background changes. For the better. Also, the star color changes for the better. So you can see with the this applied, you probably don't see the subtle differences here, but the star color and the background has been changed in a very positive way. You just about have to run this on one of your images to see just how effective this is. And if you have any magenta stars at all, this will remove that color cast and put the right color in your images. These stars look so much better now that I've ran this. So this is the clone. I'm going to get rid of it. We have a copy of that right here, and I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to put this new identifier as NL histotran SCNR and magenta background adjustment. So this is our new go-to image, and we're going to pull this up here, and when we come back we're going to work on the stars. They really don't need to be reduced in size, but we can reduce the number of them, and there's just a lot of nuisance stars in the way I look at it that I would like to get rid of. So With that being said, I will see you part 15, and we'll work on the stars.